Let's go here. Getting ready to go live. We should be live now.
Hello.
Okay, let's see here. There it is. Share. All right. I am.
All right.
If you go to the chat now, we'll be starting here shortly. Anybody who is listening,
Hi, everybody. It's a there now.
uh, but we will go in live here shortly. We're just making sure that we share this link. Come on. I'm not sure why it's not taking it. I am.
Oh, do you think that my ex looks a little bit like Saul, by the way?
I didn't get to actually take a look.
In
I've
fact,
been.
also, my ex is like 50 there. We dated when he was like 30.
Okay.
You don't think so, Mark?
Eh, eh, no. 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 Nowhere close.
I am not. It's not letting me.
He's not letting you share it?
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on.
What about in the. Isn't there a chat here somewhere?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do, and it's not letting me.
Oh, then try sharing it on Instagram.
Oh, there it goes. There
It's
you
on
go.
your channel? Wait, are we going?
Okay, wait a minute. Now I
Yeah.
gotta find it on the chat here.
I got it.
Okay, where's the chat? How do I get to the chat again?
So on the right side.
I see our names.
We've been live for a little bit,
Oh, why is
actually.
Yeah.
Siri fucking talking?
Yeah.
I can't.
Yeah.
Oh, I see it now. Wait.
Yeah, I had to go. I had to go live. So we're in the pre game of the episode. Just trying to get this to work.
I don't see the. Wait. Hold on, please.
Gripping YouTube. Go to the chat, to the Instagram chat.
Okay. Why is it saying create? I think I have it. One sec. Wait, where's my phone? I don't think I haven't signed in to I'm sorry, Blue Sky on my computer. So I'm gonna share it right now. I apologize. Listen to us. Okay, I posted it. Are you there?
Okay. Awesome.
Okay.
We are good. All right, we can go ahead and start. let me
All right.
let me go ahead and introduce us with the music here.
Oh, I like the music.
I don't even remember if I'm using the right the what's it
It
called?
had a good
The same
bop
one.
to it.
Come on. I don't know why it's so slow today. Computers are not liking me today.
powered by Riverside.
It just stopped abruptly.
All right. Thank you for joining us here on the Spyshack podcast, the podcast where superfans get together to talk about the latest episode of Survivor. And we're having a full house today again for the first time in a bit, but we're so glad to be here to talk about the latest episode because it's been a couple of good episodes that we missed talking about. So we'll briefly talk about just the to catch us up real quick. Not too much into it, but the first one we missed was talking about Sierra's blind side. Andy betraying the Gata. What did you all?
Calling that Andy would betray.
I did call that.
You did call that very early.
Although I did think he was gonna betray Sam.
Yes,
Close
and
enough.
I give you the credit anyway because he still betrayed the alliance. But I thought in some way when he in his confessional, he kind of did it to keep Sam to himself. Did you feel that too, Mark?
A little bit, not
Like-
too much. But
No, it was something he said
It
in one of his
A little bit, yeah.
confessionals.
a little yes. I think he was a little upset that Sam was not he was not Sam's number one.
Yes.
and he knew that Sierra was actually his number one.
Yes.
So he did not want that to be the case. And bye bye.
Yes.
Yeah,
although
that keeps his options open on the other side as well. So
yeah,
there's
which
double
I'm not
purpose
I'm
to
not
that.
saying it's a bad move for Andy.
Oh, it
I
was a
just
good
think-
move for Andy. I don't doubt the move for Andy. I don't know how much of it was a move or a little bit of jealousy, right? Like, I want to be Sam's number one. Not in any romantic sense. I just mean he wanted to be final two or that loyalty that Sam and Sierra had.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I think, like I said, not that it's bad for Andy, but he started playing again with his emotions there, and it could have really backfired on him. But now that Sam was on the outs, he was able to I guess what's it called, figure a way to for it not to backfire on him. So
He was.
yeah,
He was
so-
also able to, without maybe even knowing that, and maybe Andy wasn't so loyal to Sam, but you saw how when Sam realized, wait a minute, stuff is going haywire, he was playing the game even harder with everybody else.
I think part of what Andy was doing is that he wants to be seen, and
Yes.
he thought that this was a move to be seen. The next person that ended up getting voted out last week was, I was very surprised by how Saul, and I mean I'm upset with Sam here because he actually voted me out. I don't know if y'all saw the votes. He put
I
Saul.
did see that. I did. I thought about you.
Well, because it's pronounced Saul. I
Yes.
guess I get
Yeah.
it. Anyways, I should screen capture that and put it on my banner.
Yes,
know, you should.
100% please do that.
But I really started to like Saul after like week
Same.
3, I think. I didn't dislike him in week 1 or 2. It's just that we saw very little of him. But
Yes.
now that he's gone, I really do miss him. I was hoping that the SSA's Soul Secret Angels or whatever, what did you call them, was going to band together and be able to pull it off, but unfortunately, it did not.
I was hoping he was gonna be safe, and they were gonna vote out. Who was the other person that Sue?
What's
Is
yeah?
that who
What's the
they were
right?
talking
The other
about?
option was Sue. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
feel like Sue
was
is always going to be the
hope.
option.
Hmm.
I need to say something about Sue, and please forgive me. I keep on thinking, who does she look like? And it's not Marjorie Green Taylor. And forgive me, please. She looks like Mickey Rourke.
Let's not let's not go that mean. Um,
And moving on.
yeah, let's move on. We don't want to be
Moving on.
mean. You don't want to be mean. Well, anyways, but Mark, what did you think about Souls Elimination?
I think Genevieve just want to get the jump on him, and I think she did it just a tad bit too soon.
I do
And now
too.
that and everybody's onto her.
Yes,
Everybody wants her
everything
out.
changed after that move. She
Yeah, and I
should have. She's a little bit of a control freak. And I
and
can see how she's a prosecutor. What is she?
I don't
something.
remember what she does. Yeah,
Yeah.
but the thing is, I'm gonna stand by what I said before. Is that what the problem is with some of these players is they have big movitis, and they want to make a big move to make it flashy, and despite that, it might actually backfire on them. And
Yeah.
they're making a big move because they want to make a big move. They want to do the resume, and even if it might come back at them, they still want to do it. Um,
Like
I mean,
she could
like
have
Ron.
done she could have done that down the line at like 7 or 6, but like you're still after everyone else saw you're still dealing with this 2Q4, and like it's a big conglomerate. Like I like she did it to make a big move, but then like at Tribal Council, like everything pointed right back to her, and then now she's like, oh crap, and then
I
to
thought she
sacrifice
was
her
the
shot in the
one.
dark, and then to sacrifice everybody shot in the dark, like why would you
Going into
agree to
this one,
that?
yeah, yeah,
Why
going
would
into
you
this
agree to
episode,
that?
right? Um, that was one of the big things. So go, going forward into episode 10, which is what today's episode was about. We were just trying to catch you up. In episode 10, loyal to the soil, we had a rice negotiation, which happened priorly, but I don't think it's ever been labeled. We had the immunity challenge. Actually, we had a pretty fun reward challenge. I think the immunity challenge and a blind side of Gabe. So we're going to be talking about that here briefly. Let's talk about the what's it called? I guess the what Mark brought up about the rice negotiation. It's happened before. We see it happen. I do really believe this is kind of what's put into place. Remember that old challenge that used to be where they would want you to line up your I guess your number one person and chop off the I guess the last person in your alliance. I forgot
Yeah,
what it
the
was called.
coconut chop,
Yeah, I think this
the
is
something
kind of doing
something.
the same thing. Yeah, I think it's kind of doing the same thing because if you're in an alliance and you feel comfortable, you're gonna sit out to get the rice. Whereas if you're not in the alliance and you don't feel as comfortable, you're not gonna play. I mean, you're gonna play. You're not gonna sit out. And I think it's supposed to do the same thing. We saw I guess a roll of the die, if you want to say, by saying, "Hey, we'll give all our shot in the darks, and you give us the rice." What y'all think about this?
I would have one sat out not because I felt safe. I would have looked and known I'm not winning. So if I can sacrifice myself, like, oh, I don't feel safe, but I know how hungry Sue is, you know, and Sue is good at this, and she's so good at these challenges that
She is, yeah.
she really is. That I will sit out to help her, knowing that I can't win, right? Even that's why I would stand out. But I also think that giving up the shot in the dark proves how little value it brings into people's games because everybody but Sam was willing to give it up.
Yeah,
Well, if you're not willing
but
to give
that's
it up, it's because you're not worried.
But I just don't think
um
that
Well,
twist
go ahead, Mark.
means much.
yeah, but I think this it's also a smart play just because you can also gauge how people need or want the shot in the dark. You can see how desperate people might be, and at that point in the day, I think Sam was feeling a little bit in the outs, and that's why Sam was kind of fighting for that because he thought he could
Yes.
be targeted next.
Mm-hmm.
Even though we completely swerved from that afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I think this also shows us as an audience like how people are feeling about their own games.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying. Like before, like kind of the coconut chop thing, is if all of a sudden you have, let's say you have a group of we had a group of 9 here, right? But all of a sudden a group of 4 come together and says we're willing to throw our dying or 5. It's because they are backing each other up, so they have no problem. And let's say we have the numbers. It's okay. We don't if we don't have this shot in the dark. And then, of course, they're going to try to convince the other people because the bottom 4 are going to have to play that later on, so try to stay in the game if the group of 5 stay together. So it
And
is a way to kind of say like, hey, give up your shot, even though we're staying together. We don't need it.
yeah, and to point out the pointlessness that Kim said, like we're 7 seasons in, and we've seen the shot in the dark played within like we can count it with your own 2 hands,
Yes.
and the
With
only
one
time
hand,
it worked out was 1 hand. Yeah, and the only time it worked out was that one time,
there
and
was another shot out of the dark that was played, and the person didn't go home, but it was not played correctly, so they were not safe. But they played it without needing to play it, so
But
that does happen as well, and
can I just
that's
say
just dumb.
something about this? We also don't know what happens in edits, right? So we remember when a couple years ago Jeff said, I'm gonna change come on in from come on in guys. And at first everybody said it didn't bother them, and then later on somebody changed their mind. So maybe Sam was the one to say, all right, I'll say I won't give up my shot in the dark just for editing purposes.
I mean, he clearly said that he didn't want to do it, but I feel like the play would have been to say it first, to say, I don't know how I'll play this. This is a difficult because if you're the one saying let's do it, but then
It's
don't want
probably
to do
I'm
it,
jaded because of Big Brother, and I see how involved
it would
production is.
it would be kind of like what Mike did in his season of Worlds Apart, where he's like, we're all gonna go ahead and do this, and then he decides not to put the money in for the letter. Um, it would have been kind of like that if he was the one to bring it up, but then not wanting to give it up. So I think that's how that would have worked out for him. But we clearly see that he did not want to give it because he was, like Mark said, he was in trouble and he was feeling it. He did not want to risk going home that night. And it's not until after the reward challenge that he feels a little bit more comfortable. But we have to remember what he did last week with Rachel, and how he kind of did blow up her game
Yes.
in a way, because all of a sudden we had this big massive tribal council where people did not know what they're going to do because of what he did. And that really, honestly, if he had done that to me, I would have probably gotten rid of him this week.
Yeah, it was it
yeah,
was it was forgotten about quickly. At least with the edit, it was forgotten about. I mean, I don't know if it was spoken about on Island, but it didn't seem to be an issue that was talked about. At least I didn't
I
hear.
think I think Rachel's just that good.
Rachel's
um,
good.
I think she is going to end up being one of the better players in the last at least 7 seasons when it's all said and done, because I feel like she has been a focal point from the very beginning, going back to when she was trying to steal the
The rice.
rice.
Oh my goodness,
Um,
that's right.
and then the way she's been playing it, even when she was backed into her corner, and her what Annika got voted out, she still didn't give up. She still, and now because out of necessity, Andy and Sam are now having to stick with her and do that trio. So I think she is going to end up being viewed as a really good winner if
I
she wins, but I think she is.
she's definitely playing a great game. She keeps her emotions out of it. She doesn't play personally like Sue. With who wrote my name down? Who wrote my name down? Like Rachel was the target, was only saved because of Soul. And
Hmm.
she let it go and focused on moving forward and whatever is best for her game. And
Yeah.
she's good at also letting someone else take control when she wants something. If she feels, if I push too hard, it might fire back, she does that too.
And
She's
she was
really
only
good.
a target because of the draw that she had. That was the
Yes.
only reason she was a target. You know, apart from that situation, after went past that situation, she was on nobody's radar.
She was
Nobody is
on
onto
no
her.
one. She was
After this week,
literally
though, I don't know.
invisible. She was.
Mm, after this week, there's still bigger targets out there. Let's face it.
I think Genevieve's gonna. I think Genevieve's gonna try to push it on her because Genevieve now is being seen as a target because of what she did in getting Soul out,
Yeah.
and now she was scared because she saw that I really did screw up by doing that move. She was scared that she was gonna go home this time around, to the point where when her name came up twice, she was already convinced that she was going to go home, and she was already mentally she was already getting prepared to go home.
I wanted her to go so bad. She's annoyed me since she kept Rome and she wouldn't vote him and get rid of him. I think she likes to keep men she thinks she can manipulate and control, like she tries to control Andy.
She likes her meat shield. Let's put it
Yes.
that way. She likes her meat shields that are gonna be a bigger target in front of her, and that are gonna be loyal to her. I
Yes.
think that's been her strategy from the start. And
Mm-hmm.
at this point, like she thinks she doesn't need that anymore. But then right now she is target number one. And we thought this was gonna be a straightforward vote, but apparently there's a bigger target in like Kyle and Gabe in front of her. So this
Which,
surprisingly came to a really straightforward vote.
yeah, which also talking about meat shields, uh, Kyle was hoping to keep Gabe because
Yes.
Gabe was his
Kyle's
meat
a
shield.
very good player too, and I think that he doesn't get enough credit for his play on the game, on what good moves are.
I think that he's the one that he's one of my favorites, but I don't
Yeah,
think he makes
same.
it to the final if he does not win out. I think he
He has to win out
needs,
now.
yeah, because
Well, he
everyone
does,
wants to take
especially
him out.
after Probst pointed it out. You've won four in a row. Not
Although one of
many.
those was the technicality, because he technically didn't win. He won the immunity of the people going to what's it called, to tribal council, but Sue and Rachel, was it Rachel? Teeny, Sue and Teeny actually won that challenge, but they weren't going to tribal, so it just didn't matter. But so technicality, but still, Kyle is a challenge beast so far, from what we've seen. The thing is, I think everyone kind of likes him, and everyone feels like his story is going to be resonate more with the other people. And what was it Sue or was it Genevieve that said we don't need to be hearing how you grew up poor every single time you talk,
That would
and
be
he
something that sounds like Sue would say. Probably not Genevieve, but maybe because Genevieve has some moments there. But Kyle's more relatable than Genevieve, and I'm and I can't really relate to either. But if I can relate to someone, it would be him, just because I'm not rich, nor am I as smart. She has like a really high position job. I don't know what it is, but it's like higher than a prosecutor. I don't know what it is. Are you looking it up, Mark?
I'm looking up right now.
Thank you. Please tell me what she does, because it's like she's a corporate lawyer or something.
Genevieve is where do we get that information?
they're probably gonna have to go on to Inside Survivor, or what is that website?
Sorry, Wiki.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes. And
Well,
I'm pretty sure she's a corporate lawyer. And you can see it in how she speaks,
yeah, she
how
is.
she controls the conversations. How you definitely don't want her in Final Three. I don't, because she could win. Because it's like giving a closing
Hmm.
argument. Do you understand what I
And
mean?
Yep, Genevieve's a corporate lawyer.
that's
Yep.
been the reason why some people have not made it to the final. Yeah, and that's been the reason why some people don't make it to the end is because they feel like other people feel like they're too good of a talker, and at the end of the game, that ability to talk to the jury is really important. We've also seen the opposite where I mean, I think we feel that most of the time the jury has already made their mind, but there's been a couple of seasons where they said that they were swayed. Who knows if that's true or not? But that can really happen with someone like Amanda in
I don't. Nope. Is he gone for you, Mark?
Yep,
Okay, he'll come back. Because we're
he'll
here.
come back.
Yeah, we're here. We're here. Hi, everybody. It's like Wayne's World. Remember when that movie? Did you see the movie Wayne's World?
Yes, I did.
Remember when Garth is like all by himself? Oh my God, this scene. And he didn't know what to do because he was standing by himself. Oh, I wish I remembered that scene.
Yeah, but what we're talking about?
Genevieve being a corporate lawyer, her getting into Final Three. I mean,
Yeah,
it's just, again, and do we know if she has told anybody what she's done for a living?
I don't think. I think she's trying to hide that. I
I
think
think
she's telling
she's
them something
trying to
else
hide it too.
because that would make her too much of a target. I think for finals.
Yeah, I don't think she must have lied, but I don't know what she lied and said she did. Because
I
I
don't
never pay
remember.
attention to what any of them say they do for a living. Other than the girl
they
from
don't
Big
go
Brother
into it
that
as much
crocheted.
as they used to.
No,
Because
no. But I think she might have
nobody
talked about it in her
cares.
pre. She might have said something about the preseason, but that's so long ago.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah,
I don't think they go into it as much as before. Like in the couple first seasons of Survivor, it was very important for them to show what everyone did, and now it's just
yeah.
like whatever they say it once or twice, and then that's it.
Nobody
Um,
cares.
so, were you all? I mean, like we said earlier, it was actually a pretty
I
by
just
the
want to
numbers vote
comment
for
that we
Gabe.
didn't talk about something. Is how awesome that reward challenge was.
Well, we'll get back to it.
Okay, good,
Yep.
good, good. Okay.
How were you? That's what were you all surprised about how by the number the vote actually was to get Gabe out when they were trying to make it look like it was going to be this big old thing again, like they did with Soul's boot, and that didn't really happen. It was it was not that big of a deal to get him out.
Yes, a little bit.
Yeah.
Because they, especially with the Rachel vote. Because I thought Rachel, because didn't Rachel want out Genevieve? There
Yes.
was, right. So, yes, when
Hmm.
I saw her vote out Gabe, I was.
I mean, at the end of the day, I feel like she is smart enough to know that if she does not vote in the right direction, especially at this moment in time,
Yep.
that it's going to
But
put her on the outs.
that's why I said before she knows when to pull back.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're seeing an edit. We have no idea what really happened out there, right? So we don't know how those conversations ended. Right before they got to the to tribal council, we only saw what they wanted us to see to keep us in that who's going home. But clearly there was some final conversation somewhere that we didn't see for the vote to be so much for Gabe. Because
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be closer. I mean,
Yeah.
Genevieve put her head down and said, I'm going home. He purposely pulled her name out twice in a row because he normally does one. You know what I mean? He made it look like it was her.
The only reason why I didn't think it was gonna it was going to be pretty straightforward. It was because they didn't get up and start talking, and I think it was important that they didn't do that to make sure that Gabe didn't get a sense that something was going on. I feel like if he was truly convinced that Genevieve was going home, all of a sudden everybody getting up and talking to each other was gonna put something like, "Hey, something's going on," and I think at that point Sue plays an idol for him. I think they're that close at that point. I don't think she's as close with Caroline as she thinks she is.
That's
Well,
who. I'm sorry. Let me take that back. I apologize. Caroline voted out Gabe. That
mm-hmm.
was the one that I was surprised about. I'm sorry, not Rachel. Caroline. That was it. My apologies for making that mistake. Go on.
Now at the reward challenge, awesome reward challenge. We'll go back to real quick, but at the reward, actual reward, we see them talking to get Gabe out, and Rachel says, "I prefer it to be Genevieve, but she is smart enough to. I know that if I try to push this, it might not work out." So she stops. She got back to the beach. She talks about it again, and she wisely drops it again because I feel that she is smart enough to know that if she continues to push it, it might even backfire on her.
Yes.
All right. So I think she's playing a beautiful game. One that I didn't see. I thought she was going to end up going home right after Annika, or at least early in the merge, because we hadn't really seen much of her. I mean, I don't know, maybe we did. I think she was rubbing. No, it was Annika was rubbing Sam the wrong way. So I don't know. I didn't feel like she was going to be as strong as she is right now. So I'll flip flop on that. That I think she is playing a strong game. Um, Caroline, I feel like she wants to play like Rachel, but she's been taking the back seat every single time she wants to do something, and I think that's going to be her downside
I
because
agree.
she has been wanting to do these moves that are happening, but she's not able to take credit for them because she's not vocal enough to get it.
Yeah.
But what's going to happen now? Because if I remember right, and if I'm wrong, Caroline voted out Gabe, right?
Hmm.
So now when they go back to the island, um, Sue might have some questions,
So who's gonna know
right?
that there are only two voting for Genevieve?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so what's going to happen there? Because I don't think Sue's someone that you want to go against when she's loyal to you, right? I think that if Sue is loyal to you, she's loyal, right?
Hmm.
And she doesn't really sway. She hasn't from Gabe from the beginning. That
Oh, I'm sorry.
oh,
No, go ahead. I was gonna say something about that, but I don't think it was right.
um, I think that she's going to be if this wasn't discussed pre-tribal, like, hey, Sue, I want to let you know I'm writing down Gabe's name. If I don't, they're gonna vote me out. I gotta keep my, but I don't. I want to be loyal to you. Maybe that conversation happened. We'll know based on next week's episode how Sue
Now,
feels.
now, if Sue knew the vote was gonna be on Gabe, and she still voted with Gabe, that is a smart move. Because now Gabe is gonna be like, she was on my side all the time. She did not vote against me. So if she
Yep.
were to make it to the end, she gets his vote, and he does
Yeah.
not have to ask, her, oh, why didn't you play the idol for me if you were my number one in the tribe.
Right.
Let's talk real quick about that reward challenge because I did talk about it earlier and I said it was a really cool reward challenge.
Yeah, it
I've
was
seen it.
awesome.
We've seen it before. Um,
Kyle killed it, man.
and in previous seasons when we've seen this, I think we've seen like two or three people get stuck because I think they have to go through something like a different like course under something, and they end up getting stuck. They can't really move. But Kyle was able to just I would say they look like seals. He was able to
Yes.
just waddle down there and get to the point. And then
And understood where to place the ball too. To
Yeah.
place it on the shoulder, unlike Genevieve, who placed it on the top of her head. You
um,
know? So
well, then
that,
you had Andy eating it, biting it.
yes! Oh my god, that was great.
I'm not gonna. I didn't want to take too long because I did want to talk about Teeny. She had a very big
Oh,
episode this week, and I don't know what that means for her overall. I was starting to think that because they kind of showcased her at the beginning of the episode, and then all of a sudden we got this. I'm like, oh, is something gonna happen with Teeny?
yes.
I've said it from the very beginning of the first episode that I really do like. Um, and I apologize. I believe she still uses her. Or she, or I'm not sure. So if I'm mistaken, I do apologize. I'm not doing it on purpose. But I do feel that she had a very impactful episode, and
Yes.
maybe this is that cocoon episode for her, where she's gonna end up emerging a little bit more aggressive, um, a little bit stronger player than she has been, because she's been able to stay off the radar, but she's also just gone with flow.
Then again, she's not the focal point of everybody else's, ire and stuff. Like she's not a threat. Like, and so, and we can say the same thing about Sue. Like after this vote, even though Sue voted with Gabe, like she knows she's not a threat, and so I think Sue's always been able to pivot from behind. So I think Sue might just get by. She's not
So
gonna
let,
blow up
let's
on anybody. I don't think.
let's play this real quick. Let's say Sue gets to the final. Who, if anyone, would she have to make it with to win?
Oh, that's a good question.
Andy?
I think Andy and Genevieve.
Andy and Genevieve. It's gonna be those two.
And even then, I think
Genevieve
Andy
knows
might.
how to talk.
Yeah, but I think she's pissed off people, and I think she's pissed off Sierra, and she's pissed off Soul, and at this point, she
Yes.
probably pissed off Gabe already. So
I
does
agree.
she really make it? I don't know. I think her best play would be, and maybe I don't know, maybe even Caroline, because Caroline has been very quiet, so she might be able to talk over her and actually get some of those votes, especially with Caroline voting Gabe out. But I think her best shot is probably going to be Andy for sure, and either Caroline or Genevieve, and that's the only way Sue gets a chance to win. I think anyone else against Sue wins. Um, I'm thinking about Rachel. I think she wins almost against anybody, even against Kyle. I think. I don't
Really?
think Kyle's. I don't think Kyle's making it to the end though.
No, he can't. He
I
there's
think
no
if
way.
Kyle makes it to the end, he wins.
I don't
Because
know.
he overcame every, you know what I mean? Like, he had more to overcome in the game. I don't mean in
Su-
life
su-
than Rachel.
He has to win 5 immunities in a row to get
Yeah,
to that final. He's not getting there.
I think
So do
I
you think
think
that if he
Rachel
loses
does have a
next week,
chance
they'll vote
to
him
beat him.
out?
Oh yeah,
Oh, the moment Kyle loses, he's out.
yeah. I think
Yeah.
people have said it too many times that he's too much of a threat at the end.
Yeah.
And actually they've said that same thing about Rachel, that she's too much of a threat at the end, even though we haven't really seen it. So there's got to be something going on
You
in
know
the.
what's going to end up happening? We're going to have a final of Sue, Andy, Teeny. And I like Teeny.
Tina's gonna walk away.
But it would be not the ending I'd want. I'd really like to see Rachel, Sam, Kyle. Even though I'm not a big fan of Genevieve, I'd rather see her over Andy other, just because I really like to see game people who.
Well, this
Sorry.
is Sam, Andy, and Rachel's chance to take control of what the final three is gonna be.
They
Because now,
they can, and they're all great. Like Sam could win, and it's great. Rachel could win. Kyle, we have really great potential for winners this season.
Mm-hmm.
I think Andy would be a good winner as well. The way he just came back from that unfortunate situation early on in the game and find himself in the power position right now, and I think that's pretty incredible.
He speaks
I
well.
I've said it from almost from the very beginning that what was upsetting about Andy was that he was playing so bad, despite when he would talk about what he wants to do, sounding so good. And it
Hmm.
was the opposite of what Rome was doing, who was playing really bad, but he was succeeding because of how chaotic he was. And that was also what was upsetting me about Rome was that they seemed to be the opposite of each other, but in different. And I kind of like Andy for a different reason why I disliked the way Rome was playing, and I think Andy can make it to the end, and I think he has a chance to win, but he would have to take someone like Sue and Caroline to be able to win at the end of the
You
game.
don't think that that Andy can beat Teeny?
Or Teeny.
I
Yeah,
like Teeny.
it depends on what Teeny does it from here on. And like I said, I'm hoping that this episode was kind of her cocoon bursting out of the cocoon
Absolutely.
episode, and we might see something
Like yeah, like
different.
here's her introduced, and now we're gonna really focus on her. It was a great episode, and I feared. I said, "Oh my goodness, please don't tell me she's going home," because
Yeah,
I felt so much like just for her. Like I don't know, I felt so
She's not
much
going
for
anywhere
her.
soon. So let's face it. The targets right now are after this episode are Genevieve, Kyle,
Sam.
and to some degree maybe Rachel.
And Sam,
So
I think
you
Sam
don't
is
think
higher.
Sam's a target?
Sam, eh. I think they're focusing on like strategic threats right now, like besides Kyle, and so Sam hasn't really won a whole lot, like
Hmm.
as an individual. So I don't think people are seeing him as a physical threat.
And keep
I
in
don't
mind that
know.
Rachel, other than Saul, no one else knows that he gave her that advantage to get her out of it. So they might be thinking she found this or she did something to be able to gain this. So they might think of it as a move that she did that would help her in the end.
Hmm.
Which Soul might bring it up
Yeah.
at the final tribal council if he's probably he might ask her if she makes it to the end. Why didn't you try to help me out when I helped you out? And at the end of the
Who do you
day,
think has the most influence on the jury?
it's probably gonna end up being Gabe.
Hmm.
If he well for now, I think Gabe is the one that's getting most influence.
Gabe
Because I
or
mean,
Saul, I think.
Maria ruined. Was it last season or the season before?
Last season. Yeah, last
Maria, I
season.
mean, last season was awful, and then Maria, absolutely she ruined her legacy, everything, and I think that's why they changed the challenge this year. There was something I think they did.
Well, this season is gonna be the first season that we're gonna get a 2 week final.
The finale's
So,
on my birthday.
well, the actual final,
Yeah, the
the last
actual
episode,
finale, the 18th.
because the first part of the finale is going to be the week before, two
Yep, the
hours.
11th, and then the finale's on the 18th.
So technically, it's a 4 hour finale where we normally get three. So I'm assuming something happens, something big happens, and I don't know. Um, Real quick, Gabe in exit interviews, he does contribute that his aggressive gameplay and um, threat level was probably what ended up sending him home. But he acknowledges that his failure with talking to his allies and um, actually not communicating fully with Caroline was what led to those trust issues with her.
Yeah.
He does
And
want to come
does he
back. I
really
don't know if
think
he's
he's
the one that
gonna
comes back.
come back?
I think Jeff likes him enough that he might come back. I don't personally think he'd be the one that should come back, especially from this season.
Kyle.
He hasn't been the forefront of a lot of episodes, so
If
I
anyone
don't
from this season,
know.
anyone from this season, I think Andy has a better chance of coming back than Gabe.
Yes, I agree. And eats better TV.
Unfortunately, I feel like Rome is coming back.
Oh my god.
Please.
So yeah,
No, I don't think America
episode
can handle that.
Episode 10 ended up being a really good episode. It told us some, it had some emotional storytelling with Teeny. It had some uncertainty with alliances, with what was going on with Gabe and with even with Caroline regretting following along with the shot in the dark. Which at this point, if she would have played the shot in the dark, she who knows what would have happened? Would Gabe would have played it at that point? And what if he ends up winning? So at the same time, I get wanting to keep your shot in the dark, but you might trigger something and send yourself home.
Yeah.
Last words, Mark.
I'm excited to see where things go next week and see how people pivot from the situation, especially Sue. Um, and we'll see if next week is as straightforward as this week might be. So
Can we
This
clear up the coming attractions for next week? Because I don't remember them.
I don't even remember what it was. What happens in the next week?
No one?
I don't
Okay.
remember. I saw them. I saw them, but I don't remember.
So did I, and I don't remember what it was.
Part
at
of this
all.
was because my new job has me working a lot, and I am partially falling asleep at that by that time already. So
not
um,
already. I mean, we'll all find out next week anyway.
yeah,
No,
yeah.
no,
Well,
no,
it's coming up. I guess my final. Well, I guess final words, Kim.
Um, I don't know. I'm really enjoying this season. So, we're owed it from last year. So this season is fantastic. I'm really,
Really
happy
good.
with it.
Really good season. Really good season. I think everyone has it out of a 5. I think people are calling it a 3.5 to 4 star season.
Not bad.
So I really think that it's going to be perceived very well in the future, uh, based on what I'm hearing so far
Yeah,
from,
with
from the fans.
gameplay, idle play, all of it. They're playing.
Yeah. Yep.
Now, the only thing that I liked about last season that when the idols were not played was that because they weren't played, there weren't more idol in the game, and advantages weren't really that used that well, that much either. So I like that point, but I guess I would put up with a little bit more advantages if the idol play is like this.
Yeah, if you play it right. I mean, Sue still has her idol.
Yeah, well, I don't think she's gonna play it right.
No.
All right. Well, with that, we will leave it till next week.
What are we doing
We're
next week is Thanksgiving.
Oh, yeah, we'll have to figure that out. We'll figure out what to do next week for the next episode because we're not gonna be here. We're gonna be with I'm gonna be with my wife's family. We'll figure that out.
We'll figure
But
something
either
out.
way,
And
either
happy
way,
Thanksgiving to those who celebrate. If it's just even being with your family.
Yep.
and
Yep.
you don't need a turkey to have Thanksgiving.
Right, you do.
Um,
It's just celebration with family.
With that being said, want to go ahead and thank Mark and Kim for joining me here for the Spyshack podcast. If you are going to be listening to the challenge, the Spyshack Challenge Edition, go ahead and tune in here in a couple of minutes. We'll be coming back live with you for the challenge.
Bye.
Okay.